Congratulations to Joseph Abraham on 45 years of service at St. Peter's. As a nurse in the operating room, Joe is one of our registered nurse first assistants, trained to assist physicians performing surgery with the Da Vinci surgical system. Joe is skilled in performing the most basic and simplest of surgeries to the most complex. He followed in his father's footsteps by becoming a nurse and now mentors other nurses in the operating room, inspiring them to challenge themselves and pursue their career goals. Joe is also a Vietnam War veteran, and we appreciate his service to our country. Joe, thank you for your 45 years of service and dedication to St. Peter's, and for the excellent mentorship you've provided to our award-winning nurses.
Joe is highly skilled. His knowledge base is vast.
Joe's just a wonderful person. Joe's just so nice, he's so helpful. He's always willing to teach, train. He's always there for you if you call him for everything, whether it's for work related, for personal.
He's been doing this for 45 years, and it shows. I don't think I've ever gone to him and asked him a question that he couldn't give me an answer for.
My name is Joseph Abraham. I'm a registered nurse first assistant here at St. Peter's, and I work in the main operating room.
Joe can do any type of surgical case or procedure that comes through the doors, from the simplest to the most complex.
The reason I ended up in the OR is because there was 1 week in the emergency room where I was scheduled to work, and the operating room staff must have had a flu epidemic, and there was like 6-7 call-outs for 2 to 3 days at a time. And there was Miss Dunn, Clara Dunn at that time, told them to call me in the emergency room because I have surgical experience from being a corpsman in the Navy in Vietnam. So they sent me down there, and I ended up scrubbing on, simple little cases, hernias, stuff like that. And once I did that, the in-service instructor, Mrs. Demchek, said to me, "Would you like to stay here?" And that's when I started in the OR, and I never left then.
I've known Joe for 30 years, and when I first started at St. Peter's, I started in the cardiac intensive care unit upstairs. So I actually knew his wife, Jody Abraham, before I actually knew Joe.
I met my wife here in St. Peter's. So one day, Mrs. Zabel came down knocking on the door and said, "There's a code, we need you right away." Apparently, when I got up the elevator, there was 3 codes in the ICU. And I went in, I saw a doctor and a nurse, and then a resident and a nurse, and the third patient was just 2 nurses, and I came in to help those 2 nurses. And one of those nurses was Jody, and that's how I met her. And we did a good job, and our patient survived. I have 1 daughter from a previous marriage, and then with my wife Jody, after I met her, we married 1.5 years later. I have 2 boys with her, and all in total I have 4 grandchildren now.
This is going back a long time when Dr. Zula was still here, and he used to be the chief of surgery. He was a general surgeon, and then he also did vascular way back 35 years ago, I'm not sure. I was a registered nurse at the time, so was Joe. We would leave work around midnight, we would go out that way, and Dr. Zula told us, "You can't go home." And we're like, "Well, why can't we go home?" "Because there's a patient in the ER that we have to take care of, a patient with an aneurysm, abdominal aneurysm, and we need to bring him to the OR right away." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm not on call." And we looked at Joe and go, "Okay, let's go." So we both ran downstairs. We opened the case, we scrubbed, we set it up. By the time the whole team got here, we already had the patient in the OR. We did open surgery back then, so we had the abdomen open, and we actually had the aneurysm clamped by the time the call team got there. 2 weeks later, I saw Dr. Zullo, and he said to me, "Just want you to know, you saved that man's life by not going home." He walked out of here the other day. And I'll never forget that. It was me and Joe were a team. So I could only be half a nurse as he is. But he taught me a lot. And that's why I'm here. And I'm still working too.
Retirement would make me think of nothing but to think about what I used to do and work. And I enjoy my work, and I enjoy my coworkers, but working with other individuals and other nurses and taking care of the surgery and the patients, I enjoy that extremely, very, very much.